All right, we're in.
Wow, I can't believe that worked.
I know. I also can't believe that worked.
That was awesome.
All right.
Get that music back pumping.
Yeah. I had to fade it for the effect, but now we gotta like come back in, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Start from the beginning.
Oh, it's like
It's
starting
it's like 3 hours long. We'll be okay.
We're good.
It was a new song anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just chilling at the lake, boys.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Umbra Initiative post-show wrap-up season 1 finale. I'm your host, Colby, your Professor GM, joined here by my lovely cast and crew, Cory.
Hi, my name is Cory. I'm me tonight.
David.
Hi, I'm David.
And Nicole. I'm gonna put that down a little bit. Just to be safe. Just to be safe.
Whatever you want.
I just want to be a little safe.
Do whatever you want.
Just want to be a little safe. Yeah, hi everybody. We do this at the end of every season. This is our 3rd one now.
Yeah.
Is it
Our 3rd wrap-up show,
right.
Which is incredible. For those of you who are new to wrap-up shows that we do over here, we essentially just go through the events of season 1, in this case, of the Umbra Initiative. I answer questions we have for each other that have been brought up by you guys, stuff like that, in chat. Chat should be popping up on there. It's probably gonna go beyond where I want it to, but that's okay. And we just have a good time.
Yeah, we're just
We chill.
Just hanging out by the lake,
Yeah, by the lake.
you know?
I forgot to introduce Bowie.
Yeah, true. You did
That's
forget.
Bowie.
You also get to enjoy a bad green screen effect,
Yeah.
which is pretty rare, I think.
I kind of fixed the corner here, so it actually
Nice.
looks a little better.
Yeah, it's not looking bad. You can see a little bit of green between us, but don't focus on that.
Yeah, don't think too hard about it. We're at the lake.
We're radioactive.
Yeah.
We're at Hackett's
The lake's
Quarry.
radioactive.
Yeah, it's the Arcadian Haven Lake, right? There's a mountain in the back.
I told Colby when he was setting this up that I couldn't tell if that background was from New Hampshire or Halo.
It does look like Halo, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little
Like
bit.
you can almost like picture the thing in the background.
What does that say about Halo?
That it looks like
It looks like
Good, I
New
guess.
Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
It's space New Hampshire.
Master Chief is from New Hampshire. Live free or die.
That's it.
It's really just like wildlife police.
Poll question
Cool question.
from our Discord. That's right, you can join our Discord. Where you can take part in a bunch of conversations and to do with the channel, Umbra Initiative, or anything you want.
Just kind of talk to us.
Show memes and everything,
Yeah.
or take part in the initiative polls that happen every week over here. The very last poll that we had that you guys said to put up. So, disclosure, I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
I was against it. Poll question:
Yep.
Who has been your favorite cast member thus far? We have Colby, your Professor GM, Cory, who's played Elias Crowley and Jordan Teller, David, who's played Adam Mercury and Stair, Nicole, who's played Jackie Galaxy and Arabella Modesto, Will, played Evan Belgorod, guest character, Taylor, who's played Jacob Riviera, and Bowie, the ferret extraordinaire. Drum roll, please.
Don't ever do that sit next to me again.
The winner is a tie
Whoa.
between me and Bowie.
Beautiful.
For
Well
second place,
deserved.
it is a 5-way tie between literally everybody else. I guess it's third.
I could
Or second,
survive.
no, it's-
Amazing.
So, thank you for voting in the chat there. There were a lot of votes too, actually. It was nice.
I love
I'm
it.
glad that didn't hurt anybody's feelings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very neutral.
I mean, I'm kind of upset that I didn't beat Bowie.
I'm not.
I didn't either, really.
How
So,
could you? How could you?
Yeah,
I
honestly.
bought him.
With the face of
I
that.
created this monster.
of course, if you're joining in chat at all, feel free to ask questions at any time. Interrupt us, whatever. We'll poke at them. Talk for a second, because these are disappearing, and I want to change that.
We'll answer any questions you have, whether it's about initiative or just about streaming in general, or if it's about just our lives, or just if you just want to be like, what'd you eat for breakfast?
Or this or that, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
We like a good debate.
Okay. I don't know why they disappeared, but that's okay.
There we go.
They show up. That's what matters.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so, okay, I guess we should just go into it now, right? So,
Unless anything I mean, anyone has anything they'd like to say?
He was a good man. What do you want me to say?
We gather here
I'll
today.
just talk in general.
So I guess what we'll do is we'll just very briefly, because I have individual questions written and group questions and stuff and whatnot, but we'll just quickly go over the story arcs for season 1. And this,
Where's my notebook?
all your stuff is probably over there.
Probably
Shit.
back there, yeah.
Well,
I'll get it. Hold on.
to the ether.
Yeah, they're right here.
Oh, cool.
Does anybody else want anything over here while I'm here?
Thank you.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, nobody else wrote notes.
I don't know.
True.
Whose notebook is this?
That's mine.
Cory's.
go.
My little green notebook.
You just have it.
Just first show.
I got like 3/4 into the sessions and then I stopped taking notes because shit got intense.
Yeah.
I was focusing more on trying to take notes than actually playing.
So when I was doing the breakdown for the last 2 seasons, or rather the first 2 seasons as opposed to this one, it's like very different in terms of how to break it down.
I saw
Hello.
the new chatter, so I want to say hi.
Hell yeah, hello. See, we can do that now. We can like interrupt ourselves and be like, hello,
Yeah,
chat.
and, like, talk to the
Feeling
chat
of
now.
also being the only actual note taker. Yeah, guys, pick up your fucking slack.
I don't want to fucking hear it. I tried,
I don't
and then
take
it
notes.
felt like school. So I said, fuck it. So I'm not here for that.
So instead of breaking it down into like parts 1 through whatever over here, I just put all the ones that are included, even though they're all kind of intertwined, because that's how this season went, right? It wasn't
There
like
were a couple arcs. It wasn't like one
Right,
overarching.
right, but they were like, it would be like an Umbra and then Bleeding Edge, Umbra, Bleeding,
Yeah.
like you know that kind of stuff, and Entia and stuff. So the ones we have, of course, are the Umbras. Then which includes the Trash Umbra, the Campground Pseudo Umbra, Peter Bastian's the Cinema, Mr. Sales Pseudo Umbra, the Hark Residence, the North Manor, and Teller Residence ones. We have Bleeding Edge, which is just Angelica and Sales in general. The Entiel Relinquere story arc, and then finally the Divine Ruler story arc, which prevailed at the end
Yeah.
there. So yeah, this one was weird to kind of break down. I get it's shorter, right? I mean, this is what, 5 episodes shorter, I
I
think,
think so.
than,
Yeah.
Than
than season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means that's what,
Like
15 hours of
Yeah.
content,
15
like,
hours shorter, yeah.
Yeah.
which you know.
And I feel like we did a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
I feel like every episode in Umbra was very jam-packed with events.
Yeah.
And I think it
Or at
kind
least
of
story and plot.
yeah, I think a little bit of the reason for that is because in campaign 1 it was very much like each episode was part of an arc, right? The arcs were very clear in campaign 1, and like it would be like 5 episodes would be one arc, but in this, in each one episode, so much happened. Like an
Yeah.
arc would be fulfilled, like an Umbra would happen
Yes.
and close, or like an event would happen and come to a conclusion
Yeah.
in one episode.
Yes.
So like,
Yeah.
even though this campaign was or this season was less episodes, it felt like a lot more happened.
Yeah.
Well,
More happening at once,
Yeah.
definitely. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, we're doing this arc and that's going to be the next like 10 episodes, and now we're
Right.
doing this arc and it's going to be the next 10 episodes.
Yeah, it was a lot more episodic in a way of like you could almost pick a random episode, start from the beginning, you'll get a recap, you'll understand what's kind of happening, watch the beginning of an event start, and then within the 3 hours, either it'll be wrapped up or it'll be at a point where you can kind of like know that the cliffhanger is going to lead into like a second episode, and it's almost like a 2-parter sort of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they really didn't ever go over 2 parts, right?
Yeah, I mean, there isn't many things I can think of that dragged out like into like something that happened in one episode didn't get resolved for another 2
Right.
past that. Aside from like backstory things that we kind of trickled in over the course of everything, and that's kind of it. Like,
Yeah.
But that was all stuff that was meant to be slowly unpacked anyway.
Right, over
Yeah.
time.
There was a lot of that, a lot of Arabella's stuff, a lot of Jordan's stuff. I mean, kind of a lot of all the individual character storylines.
Oh, yeah.
It was all kind of like,
Intertwined with everything.
yeah,
else.
and everything was kind of drip fed in that way. But we all did that for a reason.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear what this is in the very beginning of my notebook, what the original story arcs were going to be?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
We always want to know.
I think it was in
Behind the scenes.
it was in about 6
BTS.
parts. I had this campaign plotted out with. Part 1 was the Umbras, which I subtitled as Group, which meant it was a group-based, like group objective-based story arc. All of you work together, and kind of fits into like all of your backstories.
That was what
or
really
forward.
kept the group together.
Right.
That's the glue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Part 2 was going to be the capture of Arabella.
What?
Interesting.
Capture, so which was subtitled as a Barrett and Arabella storyline. In which case, Barrett would have been tasked with capturing Arabella and bringing her to Bleeding Edge.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Part 3 would have been the emergence of Akin, which is a group plot line in which after that story arc where Arabella's capture is resolved, the next one would be Akin actually arrives in, like a full-fledged Kin arrives in Arcadian Haven. Part 4, Jordan's Umbra.
Really?
So that was like
Plotline.
always meant to happen, huh?
Absolutely, 100%.
Nice.
Part 5, the Entia Relinquere story arc, which oddly enough happened.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. Really lined up.
And then part 6, something I can't spoil, and Bleeding Edge, which was so the season was supposed to end with Bleeding Edge.
Interesting.
Well, that's not true. Well, mostly Bleeding Edge and then Divine Jeweler stuff. So I guess 7 parts.
So that part kind of got pushed. Cause like
Yes.
Yeah.
That got pushed basically into season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was supposed to be kind of how things go. Some quick notes I just put. Tease the inclusion of crystals in some way from campaign 1.
Yeah.
Get the Amble Belt involved. Have Misty and or Uman appear.
Nice.
And then I have a note that says, next story arc, fucking kill Barrett.
Love that. Absolutely love
Beautiful.
that.
So yeah, so that was how it was originally
we
gonna
need.
go. So it didn't deviate too much. It just kind of, everything went kind of a bit out of order.
So now I know that season 2 is gonna start with you
Kill
trying to kill
Barrett.
Barrett.
Yeah,
I feel like that was always the goal anyway.
True. Yeah, true.
But yeah, it, this season I think turned out really well in terms of pacing. I think it went really well. I don't think it overstayed its welcome at all.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And I'm really happy with how it came out.
Yeah, me too.
Like I think episode 1 is like our best episode ever. I
yeah.
love our episode.
I might agree with you. Episode 1 of Umbra was very strong.
Yeah.
Well,
So was the last episode, though.
yeah. I was gonna say the last one is probably one of my
I would have to go
favorites.
through. I don't think I could pick like a favorite or strong episode off the top of my head, just because like there's just so much and there's so many parts that I liked, and I couldn't even tell you which episode like they happened in. I just know that they happened around this time, and
The last 3 episodes of the season were really strong, I think.
I do agree.
yeah.
Once everything kind of came to a head, it was really solid.
There's a lot that of really strong themes and plots.
I'll go into some my questions here. Actually, let me do this. So we did get an email from our boy, Legendary Watermelon, onto here to our email.
Watermelon.
I'll read it. He wrote a hefty amount of stuff and then included questions.
Cool.
Oh wow.
It was a question for me, one for Nicole, and then one for the entire cast. But I'll read his little note first. I am going to. He did also include a little special something, but it isn't finished yet. And he's gonna finish it soon, so I'm gonna wait to show it off until he's finished, so he's satisfied with the final product. I'll show you guys after.
Okay.
I already showed David.
Oh, I'm hyped.
Actually, I'll just quickly. You guys can't see it, haha. But
Oh wow.
yeah, see?
Wow.
Don't you guys love this?
That is really
Don't you
good.
guys love how
I can't.
I'm totally excluding all of
shit.
chat?
That's great.
Yeah, just
Oh
wait.
fuck! I'm
Just wait till-
super hyped.
And I'll show it off. We'll show it in the Discord and all that.
Really,
I'm
really good.
hyped. I'm ready.
All right. Anyway, it's your boy, Legendary Watermelon, sliding in his season finale email. Probably a little too close to the Q&A stream. As for the season itself, it's been an amazing experience. It's been amazing experiencing the progress you guys have made with production values for sponsorships and, of course, some of the best TTRPG storytelling around. I almost feel like Colby went, quote, character over world building. I'll show him, and decided to go above and beyond for both this time. Thanks. Like a mixture of Persona meets Supernatural, the show Supernatural. I love it. Here's a couple questions I have for the post-show. For me, Colby, how would you summarize your approach to preparing for a game session? In a few times I myself have tried to GM, I consistently over-prepared, but you managed to bring new action and excitement to every episode, even when the party is doing nothing more exciting than hanging out in the local sandwich shop.
That's a good question.
So how would you summarize your approach to preparing for a game session? I do little... you can't even see it, but I do main objectives and side objectives. You can't. Whatever.
No, you can actually see it pretty clearly.
Oh wow. Okay.
It focused pretty fast. I was surprised.
So
What's in the notebook?
So this is episode 1, actually. The notes for episode 1.
Read them.
So for example, for episode 1, my main objectives for the party. This is basically encompassing. This is what you need to have accomplished by the end of the episode in order to progress the plot. Finding the ferret, because Bowie didn't have a name yet. Introducing day-to-day activities, so you guys would go around, here's your day-to-day, and then the pawn shop, which never kind of happened in that one. It got introduced, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the side objectives, I had a grocery store visit for Barrett, a therapist visit for Jordan, Jordan goes to the pharmacy, and then a call for Barrett, which is the first bleeding edge call. So I always do main objectives, side objectives, and then I do events. So that's where the bulk of the work goes in, where it's just like, I just dots, I just go through, like, we begin with going through a morning with our heroes, going through the afternoon. It's like vague stuff, right? I let the players kind of flesh it out, but I need to accomplish these things. Like, Barrett is stopped by a lone raven in the road. It looks at him before Laura Hart kills it. She asks Barrett some annoying, questions before trying to shoot him with a slingshot. Liam is there as well. And then it goes on like that, right? That's the whole encounter, and then, we kind of just play it out.
So you keep it pretty vague. Like, you put little instances, but not big, like...
I'll put quotes like for Jordan here. Like, Jordan goes to a therapy session with Natalie Home, and then in another separate bullet point, I put a quote from her that says, Anderson asked me to tell you that he wants the money you owe him, something about breaking a bottle of beer over his head, right? And I need to say that because that conveys what I want her, that I think that sets up a lot for Jordan, right? Like, Jordan has a drinking problem. He doesn't really get along with people. He has this issue here. His therapist calls him out on his bullshit, stuff like that.
It's like you always kind of have that dollar on a fishing hook, and you're just dangling it over us for us to grab it.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys always grab it. So I can't really think of a moment where you didn't grab it.
It's a very interesting way to structure it.
Yeah, so
it makes a lot of sense. It's like you're kind of creating goals for us as players to achieve, whether or not we realize we're achieving them or not.
Yeah.
Do you structure as far as the NPCs, how you want to build the world and how you want to build these characters, do you structure it per character, or are you just going through okay, this is episode 1, these are the points I want to hit?
It's that, right? It's more that the characters come in a different way. I have little tabs that show off minor and major NPCs, and every NPC has a brief 1 to 3 sentence description, which includes their job, personality, and physical quirks. And then at the very end, I put what accent they have, because I didn't do that for season 1 or campaign 1, and it fucked me up a little bit because I would forget accents. And this one, I still forget it. I only started doing that maybe 4 or 5 episodes in, when I realized what did Brother Lewis sound like again? Brother Lewis was not meant to be a big character. He was a minor NPC, completely minor.
Wow.
I didn't expect him to be as big as he was. Even right off the bat, he was just kind of he was the blank, weird kind of yin to Jordan's yang, or vice versa.
Yeah, he was just meant to be hey.
Yeah, he's the guy who was supposed to be there, and Jordan was the guy that kind of showed up and took his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think his interacting with Arabella and Nicole really expanded his character into someone
Absolutely.
who, like, you know, could change and become something a bit more. But yeah, that's just what
That's
there.
great.
Everybody, even the NPCs developed over this.
Oh, yeah.
That was something that happened that the other season, like the other campaign, didn't really happen a lot. Like a lot of the characters, like when we met them, who they ended up as was still pretty much kind of the same.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, we didn't have a lot of transformations the
Yeah,
same way
that's
that this
true.
one did. Even physical, we had crazy transformations. In this.
So yeah, go figure, right?
Yeah, right.
For Nicole, quote, how closely do you work with the GM with these characters you've played that both have a sort of evil, or at least chaotic, entity powering them? Do you pitch the idea to him first, or ask to use things like the Dark Entity / Tin of Carnage after hearing a story summary?
So I know for Arabella, I pitched that, I believe.
You did for both.
Yeah, it's harder for, sorry for my cognitive shit. I'm still getting over COVID. But as far as Arabella goes, yeah, it was definitely something I actually didn't realize how closely that tracked with Jackie until I really looked at the character as a whole, because I was thinking more like that switch. I just wanted something unique in that there was one half that did one thing and one half that did another. I wasn't even necessarily thinking like this is gonna be like an evil thing. That's something that Colby really brought in to the plot, I think, because it started off as just like, oh, they do this, but also they do this.
Yeah, well, you said demon,
Yeah,
so I guess I leaned
yeah.
evil on that for that. But then you start playing her like a psychopath.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, because at first it was, like I said, like it wasn't meant to be, I wanted it to be like a demon, like you said, but it wasn't set in like,
It was mechanical,
yes,
not narrative.
It was, yes, that's exactly. It was more mechanical. It was more like, I want X powers and I want X powers. And then when I told Colby and when we started talking about it, that's when it became more narrative, and that's when it became something that was, excuse me, more character driven than just power based, I think.
Right, I get that. I think it worked out well too.
Oh
in that
yeah,
regard.
I love how it turned. I mean, yeah, I love how it turned out. And with Jackie too, that one started more narrative. That one was something that I wanted to try to like create this backstory of how did she get her powers? How did this come about? And that's when I kind of went through and I was like, well, that's kind of a neat thing, right? Is when you don't necessarily, you're given something.
Yeah.
By some ambiguous, you know, like God or whatever.
Down. Symbiote, you know.
Right. Jackie started very narrative. I think the characters are opposite. Jackie started narrative, and that kind of stayed throughout the initiative. And then Arabella was more mechanical, and it became, the more we talked about it and the more story happened, that really became something that was more narrative.
Yes. Yeah, and whenever we started a campaign or a season, the four of us would meet and like sit down and like I have a laptop and I'm writing notes about like, okay, like here question, and then they tell me what they want to do, or at least they just tell me what their characters are.
Yeah, and you're never like rigid about it. It's never like, hey, I'm gonna do I'm gonna do Arcadian Haven. We're gonna be in like New Hampshire in the woods. Figure it out who you're gonna be there.
Right.
It's like we said like, I want to play this kind of character. I want to be this kind of character. I want to do this. And we said that, and then he kind of worked it in. And then once he like kind of revealed like what the setting was, we figured out how we fit into that setting.
Yeah.
There wasn't any like forcing. You weren't putting us in our place to start. Like we found our own.
Everybody was in there so well too. Like all you guys did so well with it. Whether it's just like, you know, you've been here since not when you were born, but
Right.
you know, early on.
Yeah.
You're here for a mission, or you're here to escape everything. And I think that, as opposed to campaign 1, where it's like, well, obviously we all go here. We all go to the same school.
I think this definitely was more, I really liked the differences in our characters, and I really liked that our characters were not necessarily built to have the same goal. When we made our characters, I think this time we were set on a more mature setting. We were set on, we wanted this to be something beyond just a fun campaign adventure kind of thing. We wanted it to be with adults, I think. We had decided that pretty early on.
Yeah, one of the first things I think we said, like when we were figuring out what the next one was going to be, was like, we want to play adults.
And so that kind of drove us into that kind of characters we wanted to create, what themes we kind of wanted to hit and go on. And I think we all kind of agreed as like a whole group. Like you said, we were talking to Colby about what kind of campaign we were looking for and what kind of campaign would be fun for all of us to do and also be really interesting. And you know, as we made our characters, we kind of kept that in mind. As you know, as we plan it out. And even when I was making Arabella, I didn't have the full backstory until we actually played. I didn't even know that Arabella was a kin at all, so.
You gave me a name.
Yes.
But there was no like origin as to where it came from. So that was like fun for me. To be like, ooh, you know, and same with Jordan's powers, right? Like, it was like this cosmic radiation thing that started out, and it was like, oh, I could do something more with this, and so.
Yeah, we left it broad kind of like on purpose, and I kind of like almost like passed it to you because I knew you could do something with it. If I'm just like he gets these powers somehow in space, somehow while re-entering, something happens.
Yeah. And it gave me just enough direction to do something cool with it. And with Barrett too, like his gun. Like, you know, his gun is his most important, like, power-wise to what he is, and then the organization he comes from, right? Like,
I think we all kind of made a vague backstory, and then Colby kind of put the pieces together.
Yeah, well, I think we put a lot of trust in Colby as a GM, and I think a lot of like games and stuff, like, and even just players that like get so attached to their character. When you write like extensive backstory, you don't want anyone to fuck with it, and like you want to tell it a very specific kind of way, and like have it be your guy the way you wrote him, the way you want him to be perceived to other people. But like, there's no excitement in that. I feel like I guess one thing if you just have like an uncreative GM, but like if you have somebody that like is trying to tell a story and has goals that are bigger than your character, you can trust like a GM like with a style like that to kind of sort that out for you in a way that's going to be satisfying and surprising for you at the same time.
I think. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think this campaign was also a good exercise for all of us, and it also shows the trust that we have in our GM. That when we were originally making our characters, you know, usually we start with like, I want to play a character with this kind of power, and then we make our backstories. But this campaign, we specifically were like, we don't really want these characters to mesh. Like, we specifically, like, our campaign 1, we all started in the same high school, right? Which is basically the Mutants and Masterminds way of starting in the tavern. And like, we wanted to do the opposite of that, being like, one of these characters is actively against one of the other ones. And like, we don't really want them to get along. And like,
we kind of did everything that we didn't do in the first campaign.
That's exactly.
We totally like approached this with a completely opposite point of view. Like, adults not in the city and nobody likes each other.
I will say that every time Barrett wanted to leave Arcadian Haven, I wanted to vomit.
I never actually would have.
I mean, I would have let it, but I was always like, oh,
unless I came to you early and was like, you know, planned it out. I never would have been like, hey, I'm dipping. Just like,
all right, blue. Second campaign happening with you two doing your own thing. Barrett's like, what?
Because I know how much splitting the party sucks. So, you know, I don't want to do that. But like I was saying, it really was an exercise to make all characters that don't like each other forced to work as a team. And that's something a lot of people can't do.
We all made these characters with the same goal, regardless of what that character's goal was. Like, us as a group decided we wanted this to be something different, and that's kind of what we did.
They worked out well. We did it.
It worked out very well.
For the cast as a whole, do you all keep backup characters in your back pocket just in case a trip to an Umbra doesn't go exactly as expected?
I do have a backup character, but it's a character that I might use in the future, so I don't want to say what it is.
I'm not going to give away the characters, but...
Give it away.
But absolutely, yes. I do have a backup.
For a long time, I didn't. Which, not to say, like, if something happened to Arabella, I would be, like, so distraught, but, I was so enamored in what we were doing and, like, the characters that we had created, especially because it's new, right? It's our first season, it's our first thing. I definitely didn't go in being like, just in case I have another character. Now I do. but definitely didn't start that way.
It's a demon with an angel as its inner.
Just trying to be a good guy this time.
Yeah. Really trying to change my ways.
I got nobody in my back pocket. I've got loose ideas about things I like and ideas and stuff and whatever, but it really just kind of like when I create a character, it depends on the mood I'm in at the time and depends on what I'm going to be like trying to do within that story.
I get that. Big thanks to all of you. It's been my honor to throw Puddin sponsorship money, TM, at you all. Your passion across all of Initiative and keep tapping next on the streams, actual plays, and YouTube is inspiring, and I'll continue supporting as long as I'm able to, and for as long as you allow me to. Good luck to everything coming in the future.
Thanks, Mom. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's
So sweet.
ban him. He milked up everything he's worth now. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, I'll go into my questions unless you guys have anything else.
Throwing at me.
Yeah.
Throwing at me right now.
Let's do them.
All right, David, fine.
Yeah.
So are you.
All right.
All right, when making a stoic character, how did you ensure that conversations would remain engaging, avoiding just simple one-word answers at a time?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So honestly, one of the things that I try and do while playing a stoic character is I know that one-word answers can like not always be the most engaging, you know, because I'm not actively interacting that much. But I also don't want to make a character who wouldn't talk a lot. So basically, my biggest rule is make the one word as engaging as possible.
Okay.
That's mainly what I try to do. So like I want a character like Barrett to say as much as possible in as few words as he can. And that's basically
tough.
always
That's tough for a literal improv form of storytelling.
Yeah, it's tough to do, but I find the best way to play a character like that is to, when it comes to me, play on the spot. I try not to overthink stuff that Barrett would say. I try to mostly just improv it.
See, that's interesting because I think you played Adam in a similar way where you're like, I just think about the moment. Let's go.
I mean, honestly,
That's how he lives his life.
But with Adam, it was different because Adam was like, you know, just kind of, I didn't want him to think about his decisions.
He was
I,
aloof.
Yeah, I didn't want him to think too much about what he did.
Oh, you didn't.
I wanted that to be his character. But with Barrett, it's more just like, I don't want him to be too wordy.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
There's like way more thought put into less words, like
Yeah.
you said, like
Absolutely.
saying the least amount.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Which
Okay.
I think actually worked out really well, like especially with the entire time you're trying to figure out what Barrett's deal is, and like because he says so little and what he says is just like you still have no idea which side he's on.
Yeah.
So it leaves it so up in the air.
I did want to think a lot about his actions.
Yeah.
And kind of have them speak, but not so much his words.
I wish I remembered specific points, but I do like remember a handful of times where like something would happen, Barrett would react to it, and you just say like a single sentence, and I was
Yeah.
like, damn, that's hard.
Right.
Like you're just like cold all the time. You always said
Yeah.
like really intense shit.
Yeah.
It was cool. I really liked
I
it.
think the most one is like when he basically told his kid to like his own kid like in the Umbra to like
when-
I'm out.
during-
I don't even think he said anything. He just turned or something.
Yeah, he just
I'm trying to remember.
It was just like hard.
He might have said
Yeah.
like one thing.
Sup.
But
So
I definitely wanted to make it so it was evident that he did not care about many people.
yeah.
Just didn't care about him. Right.
He cares.
Very fun to play.
He does care. That's what's sweet about him. That's what I choose to believe. Corey,
Colby.
what inspired the decision to have a therapist/psychiatrist as Jordan's main supporting cast?
Ooh. Well, it felt like it kind of lent itself to the story in terms of like, having Jordan be like off planet when the incident with the Dark Entity and all that shit in New York happened, and then losing everything, being tied to like a government organization like he was in terms of like doing like the astronaut thing and whatever, it kind of made sense that like he would sort of be like sanctioned to do this if he were to try to like stay involved in any capacity, even if he was trying to like get away from it or whatever. Like they would probably like kind of force him into that. Like you've seen shit, you've been off planet for a while, you came back, you'd probably be undergoing some sort of like re-immersion like kind of
Therapy or
process
something.
anyway.
Yeah.
So it felt right for him to be put in a situation like that. playing it was really interesting because it kind of explored a lot of territory that I didn't expect to go in with the character.
I agree. I think there's a lot of stuff you can. It's like you can talk to the audience a lot, like a therapist type character, as opposed to also the character itself. So it's like a really good way to explore themes.
Yeah, and another part of it that like I kind of like wanted to do with it was like sort of put that like angle like into like showcase, like kind of show that like these characters, they don't always have their shit together. They're not like perfect and know exactly what to do like in the moment. Like they're super powered, so they have no personal issues. That's not interesting,
Right.
at all. And I just say I wanted to play a flawed character. Pretty much more.
And you know what? You did it way better than Falcon and Winter Soldier. I remember when we first did this, we were like, oh yeah, just I think it was around the same time Falcon and Winter Soldier came out.
Yeah.
And it was like Bucky had the therapist angle at the beginning, and they were like, the first episode, you're like, okay, he's going to therapy, and then they never did it again.
It was dumb.
It was like the best thing about that show.
So
It was like, come on, man.
They did not handle that right. They turned it into a joke more than anything, and that's not the right way to approach like something like that, especially like kind of like with like the current climate and like the way that like everyone's like an advocate for mental health and whatever and stuff like that. Like having a positive sort of like example of that working, not making out with your therapist, aside from all that, everything else was pretty good. Like I mean, I feel satisfied with the angle of the story, like the way that we did it, and I like Natalie a lot as a character. That was another thing that I just gave you a name and put a lot of trust in you for how that character was going to be.
I think it was a really good way to get a narrative out without main characters, right? Because that's usually what happens during campaigns, is like the main characters talk to the main characters, and that's kind of
Campfire moment.
Right, exactly. And so I feel like that was a really good way to get out like that narrative, but the main characters were not involved. Like it really developed Jordan as a character, like you were saying, and it just made it what he was saying like hit more, because it wasn't just like something he was going around telling people, right? It's not something he's going around being like, yeah, well, this and this and this, and just to everyone he meets. It's like he's still a person who like talks about his life privately, you know.
Well, showing on-screen therapy is a perfect engine for like establishing backstory and kind of like finding my footing as playing this character, because like again, like we kind of played everything kind of like fast and loose with these characters and the way that we established and set them all up and stuff. Like we had backstories kind of established, but in terms of like personalities, I think we kind of found our footing and ran with it once we did. And like doing those therapy sessions with Jordan, like the two things were pretty much that like kind of developed him for me, like to get me comfortable as playing him, were those therapy sessions, and then his interactions with Arabella, because that kind of gave him that sort of like inkling of like, this is how he may have been around his family versus this is what happened to him and what messed him up and made him not act the way he used to, sort of.
I will say, this is random, but what you just brought up, how we build the characters, I actually wrote so much down.
That.
What did you write?
She had a glossary
traits.
of it was like a long list of just like adjectives to describe her character and the way she wanted to play her.
Because I really wanted to get into the roleplay aspect of this, because last time we played us, last time it was us. So I was like, these are the points I want to hit. These are the themes that I want to keep Arabella as, and I do not want to deviate. Obviously I can deviate, make it a dynamic character, but these are the traits that I would like to keep on track. And
That's so awesome.
I have
obviously it changed.
I like that.
I have like a 10 or 11 word paragraph that I pretty much stuck to the entire time in terms of like Jordan's personality.
That's the entire list.
That's so funny. Yeah, mine was very quick and brief. It was, imagine Wolverine as Captain Universe. Slightly softened personality with certain characters. and a strong sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
That was it.
I don't know if I got Wolverine from him.
It wasn't so much like
wasn't-
Wolverine and the gruffness. It was
Exactly.
just. It
Yeah.
was.
Everything else,
It
like
was
working
Logan
in Alaska.
It was Logan pretending to be a normal guy.
Yes,
staying
exactly.
quiet, wearing flannel and driving a beat-up truck, working
Yeah.
in the woods, hanging out in bars, not getting along with everybody that well.
Yeah, the only difference being when you approach him, he doesn't tell you to fuck off.
Yeah,
Right.
and I didn't want to play a character like that. I just kind of wanted like him to just be sort of like, you know, like the like neighborhood handyman sort of kind of character. Everybody sort of knows him, nobody really knows him well, and he can fix shit.
Yeah.
It just felt like a good cover for everything else that
It worked out well.
Yeah, it worked.
And it brought it into the story and like into the folds. Pretty
Yeah, and it loosely connected him to everybody else in town, which helped, I'm sure.
Nicole, why did you decide to play a support-based character in this campaign?
Ooh.
You know,
So why does anybody?
I know, yeah.
I love this summary of Jordan.
I hate playing a support character. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not my favorite. I chose it because I thought it would bring more dynamic to the character. I didn't want to rely on like, I have these superpowers, I'm like really cool and I do all this stuff and I didn't want to rely on that as a crutch kind of for like the character. So when I was thinking about making a character, I knew, like I said, I had that whole list of personality traits that I wanted to hit, especially because there was this alternate side of her that I knew would be really hard-hitting and really, you know, have that aggressiveness. And so I wanted it to be dynamic. I wanted it to be, okay, what's a way that this person could function as a person while also having like unique abilities. I wanted it to be more story, more driven
narrative
in the fact that she's not gonna punch her way through anything.
Right.
She has to think about the things that she does, and I try to keep that theme throughout. Like you'll see, even an episode with I think Peter's Pawnings is one that I kind of go to when I think about it, but Arabella can't do anything, right? She can only heal people. She can only,
Bomb.
you know, she has flight. She can get to people and help them out, but what is she gonna do against a monster, right? There's no real, you know, there's no real fix for that. So I thought it would create a more interesting interaction with baddies if Arabella couldn't do that. If she had to.
It forces you to think.
Right, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I was going for. Like I said, I really wanted this character to be like stand on her own. Like, this is Arabella, like away from me. This is like her own character. And I wanted to think outside the box, and I wanted to force myself to think outside the box. So I figure playing a support character forces you to think outside the box, because you're not just gonna fix everything with powers. You're not gonna be the main antagonist, you know?
Right.
I'm not gonna go up to the monster we're fighting and be like, yeah, come at me. You know, I'm gonna support these other characters, which also, I do like support in that way, being able to buff people or being able to like heal, and I think it brings that more dynamic character interaction, because now it puts more precedent on Jordan, or it puts more precedent on Barrett, and it's more interesting in that, like, showcasing other people's abilities as well.
I mean, all three of you were DPS back in campaign.
Right.
True, yeah.
And I was utility mostly too in campaign 1
Yeah.
with Jackie, because I just couldn't hit for shit. So I
Ironically,
figured.
considering you had perception-based.
I know, dude, it sucked.
Bad vision.
Really, I don't necessarily like playing support. I'm a very aggressive, like, rogue is what I go for in D&D, always. I'm a rogue character through and through, so creating a support character was just different, and I wanted it to challenge me.
We'll just give Arabella a knife.
Yeah.
Group question.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. Pick a number between 1 and 6. Go. First one, yell out.
3.
Oh, I was gonna say 3.
All right. This is for people who've also watched the first campaign.
Okay.
So, describe the key differences between your campaign 1 and campaign 2 character.
Oh my god.
Oh, mine's pretty obvious.
Just give me brief. Just
I mean, campaign 1 was a happy-go-lucky kid, and campaign 2 was a mercenary badass who didn't talk a lot.
One hated the government, the other one worked for the government.
Yeah. I mean, I already just went through, like, Jackie was basically me, and
Well, you did mechanically, but what is like personality-wise?
she was very independent. I would say she was more, like, plan ahead, like, thoughtful about, like, that kind of stuff. Stubborn, maybe. Very practical. Not so forgiving, not so trusting, And Arabella's just...
Just the worst.
Just, trust everybody, super naive, very forgiving, very happy-go-lucky,
I love Arabelle.
Yeah,
I do.
I like
Cory. Elias is very reckless, and then kind of learned consequence by like over time and everything like that we had gone through with the characters and stuff like that, and kind of grew to have like the sense of responsibility. Whereas Jordan was just like rigidly responsible right off the bat, and then kind of like that sort of steered him for the majority of the campaign.
Ironically, it was the character who didn't have to worry about saving the whole world who like cared more about it, or or like as opposed to like from the very get-go campaign 1, Elias is like, okay, we're fighting these threats that threaten the world, whereas in Umbra Initiative, you don't know what the fuck's going on, and you could easily just be like, I'm out. But he stayed in and was just like, I fucking care. Like, I need, like, I don't know, it's just interesting, like, dichotomy between the two.
Well, I kind of played that in a way of like, once like when Jordan came back and saw what happened and saw like what he had left of his life to salvage, and then saw who was kind of at the reins trying to solve the world's problem while he was gone, he sort of looked at that subconsciously and was like, if I could have done that, I would have done it better. And then I kind of played that character in that way of like, if he were to be the one, it would have gone down a lot differently.
You imagine if the three of them were at the finale for campaign 1?
I don't even know what happened. I don't even know what that would have been just completely different.
Yeah.
Do you think Adam could take Barrett?
Oh, 100%.
God, yeah. Adam could just
I think all your characters would have wrecked your other character. Because you just ended at a way high. You had like 50 more power points more in campaign 1.
Jackie fucked that shit up pretty bad.
What's Arabella gonna do against Jackie? Especially the demon form, because the demon form's weak against will abilities.
True,
Yeah, you could have mind control.
Elias would have trounced the demon too.
Once we start hitting those will abilities, I'm out.
Yep.
That's something like nobody had this time around.
You discover Barrett's a robot.
Yeah, right.
It would only make sense, honestly.
Wait, I have a question that goes off of that.
What?
Who do you like playing more? Your previous character or current character?
That's hard for me. Sorry. I think Adam was more like fun, but Barrett's more interesting.
It's Elias for me, 100%. Yeah, 100%. If I can come back and play as him, I absolutely would.
I think mine's Arabella.
Yeah.
Although I will always love that mind powers in my heart.
Mine's Ooman.
Makes a lot of sense.
You know he was in campaign 2?
Was he?
Second to last episode, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah.
Oh, in one of the pre-scenes.
No,
Oh.
he was. You guys actually saw him.
Yeah, I remember.
What?
You guys don't remember?
No.
You can't
Why?
miss that voice.
He was the janitor
Oh right, yeah, that's right.
in the community center after
Oh,
the
you're
speech.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right.
David,
Yes.
why did you shoot your party members so much?
So here's the thing.
Yeah. Why did
Yeah.
you do that?
I had a similar issue with Adam,
Yeah, you did.
where I have AOE abilities, so I want to use them, but these jabronis are always in the way.
I get hit with these abilities every single time. Every single time he uses one, I get hit.
You always use them like Arabella usually isn't even in the.
I know.
And she somehow gets hit all the time.
I know. With Adam, I had the snap or like the sonic boom that would always hit everyone. Yep. And with this, I had my explosive bullet and I had my deafening blast. Because any AOE's in this game are really hard to use if there's even one melee character.
Yeah.
Why don't you get selective?
That's
You
expensive.
can't get selective with a bullet.
Yeah, right.
He has dancing bullets. He should be able to do it.
They're dancing. They're wildly moving.
Dance. It takes two to tango.
But yeah, because I have AOE and I want to use it. That's the answer.
Okay, Cory.
I'll remember this.
How do you see Jordan acting while part of the military, or when he was a full-fledged astronaut? What sort of character would we have seen 6 years ago in the campaign?
That's
Interesting. So a big kind of inspiration for Jordan's backstory was Green Lantern Hal Jordan, which is kind of why I named him Jordan. It was a little on the nose, but no one really caught on to it. But just in the sense of like, he kind of entered that like with the goal in mind of like he wanted to be an astronaut. And going through the Air Force was just his fastest way of getting in. I actually like leading into playing Jordan and writing his backstory, I literally looked up how to become an astronaut.
Yeah, you did research.
And what to do to become one, and like how to get like basically the fastest track to doing it. And then I wrote out a timeline. So I actually wrote out a fucking timeline for this. And then I realized like working it all out and figuring it all out, Jordan's age in 2026 or whatever it was, it was 2026, right?
Yep.
If we jump that back to the year he was born, I've realized that Jordan is my age. Born the same year. And then it was really weird because I'm writing out this dude's life as if it was like a parallel to my own, like this is everything he's accomplishing, and then I'm looking at the years going, wow, I'm a fucking loser. But I looked into short of like going to school forever to get into like NASA or whatever, what the fastest way to like go from being in a classroom to getting into like the International Space Station in the shortest amount of time possible.
Yeah.
So I pretty much, having that goal in mind from like this character's birth, figured it out in a very like fast and loose way. Figured out his birth. He was born in 1994, graduates in 2012, joins basic for the military. By 2013 gets into the Air Force, gets promoted to there, and then by 2015, which is probably a lot faster than like may get done, he completes 1,000 flight hours.
Damn.
You need 1,000 minimum to kind of get into like interstellar programs and that kind of shit. And then so 13 was the Air Force promotion, 15 completes 1,000 hours and gets married to Sadie. By 2016 is hired by NASA and his son Tommy is born. Then 2017, family moves to New York City. Jordan trains in Russia, works with like all the International Space Station crew, trains in their underwater thing, learns how to maneuver in zero-G, all that shit. 2019 goes to the ISS from Florida, returns as a candidate from Mars. So he leaves from like Cape Canaveral, goes to space, does that kind of stuff, succeeds, and then they sent him to like a Mars program. Figured out how long it takes to go from Earth to Mars. The shortest time to do that is about 8 months. So he figured that out, worked that into the story. So May 2020, he leaves for Mars. By January 2021, lands on Mars, and then stayed there for I think it only looks like a month, and then by September 30th of 2021 is when he returns to Earth.
Damn.
Yeah. So basically, I almost had it pinpointed down to the day of the New York incident, which was August 17th, 2021. So a month and a half later, like a month and a half from the season finale of campaign 1 was when Jordan returned to Earth.
Huh. Damn, dude.
Yeah, so like we had that like worked out, like we had that worked the fuck out, like that level of specific.
Jeez.
Sorry. I have all my notebooks
Yeah.
on me. Yeah, August 17th. Yep.
Yeah, August 17th, 2021 was the day that I had
shit happened.
Yep. I have Sadie dies at 27, Tommy dies at 5.
Wow.
How do you meet Sadie? Real quick. How do you think you met her?
Probably high school. If
Okay.
I mean,
I know they
probably high
married
school sweethearts. I mean,
married
that's the
later.
guess. Well, he married 2015, so like 3 years later.
Okay.
I'm assuming he either met her later on or met her in school of some kind.
Was he a nerd?
I don't see him as a nerd. I see him like going off of like the Hal Jordan thing. I see him being like really capable and confident and almost cocky about everything, and kind of like
doing too well, so then like he's got a high place to fall from when he returns and has nothing.
Yeah.
Suddenly, like his ego is crushed, his confidence is crushed, everything. Like I imagine him being almost the polar opposite of who he was in Arcadian Haven.
Okay.
Like
Interesting.
outgoing, like the socialite sort of guy. Like he walks in, everybody's like, "Hey, it's Jordan. What's going on?" Like that kind of like person.
Yeah.
Because then, like seeing that person be crushed is way more interesting to me.
I agree.
So yeah, that's kind of always how I sort of imagine him being, and then kind of finding his way back to that middle ground of being kind
Well,
of
he's redeemed, right?
broken.
I think by the end of
yeah,
season 1.
I think so
he was
too. Yeah.
Emotionally redeemed. Not like he did anything wrong, but
No, but I think I think things went down the way that they should have, given the character.
Nicole, you've spoken before about challenging yourself more when playing the game. Tell us more about that.
I get real bad performance anxiety.
Everybody stare.
I'll cry. I don't know. I just really like doing this. I think it's really fun. We have a very unique opportunity that I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily get, and that's that we're all so compatible and we all play together so well, and enough so that we can make it entertaining and for others, and we can stream it and we can like do this. And I just. It's fun to do. It's a good opportunity. And we've played, a ton of campaigns together, or at least us three. I know Cory, we just kind of started with Initiative, but we played so many campaigns, with the big group and outside, and, and playing so much. I really enjoy the narrative process, and I really enjoy the storytelling part of it. And I think that every other time, I've created a character, it's you're playing with friends. You don't want to be too serious necessarily. You don't really want to take that story and make it into.
I'm a kobold with 2 missing fingers. And I burrow down and bury stuff.
Yeah.
I'll bury your stuff.
Yeah, I literally played a jar of dirt. Every character that I've played has been fun, light. It's always something, but when we play, it's like I said, we have this unique opportunity where we all are on the same page. We're all looking for this narrative base. We all are very passionate about it. And so, when we were making this campaign, I just decided I really want to explore going all in and really creating a character that's outside of my comfort zone and creating a character that's not me. That's not just me pretending to do something, that's not just making jokes all the time. And even so, I still, you'll see me snickering and making dumb jokes anyway. But I because we have this unique opportunity, I really want to capitalize on that as much as possible.
I think you did too. I think it's clearly evident in the later episodes with Arabella, especially during her emotional moments, where just as an actress, you really gave it your all and poured yourself into that role. I think that's commendable.
It's really scary, especially since we're streaming. It's very something that freaks me out really bad. During the scene where I was pretending to cry, I could have actually cried. It was such a level of anxiety for me, because I was I probably sound so bad. This is so dumb. What am I doing? I shouldn't even be doing this.
It was perfect. Yeah.
And so I was yeah, it's fake.
I'm not crying.
I'm just not.
Did you find yourself in situations where while we were playing our characters and we were in a lot of our conversations and just either whether it's between us or it's we're responding to situations that Colby put us in, do you find yourself thinking without speaking in character?
Sometimes, if I could get into a good groove and really prepare ahead of time, and sometimes I feel embarrassed to even say this. I would practice and by myself and be okay, well, this is what just happened. That's what happened. What kind of state would I be in if this had happened? What is the appropriate response to this as somebody else? you know, and so sometimes if I could get into that like headspace of like, okay, like I'm not this person, I'm like this is exactly the headspace I want to be in, then that kind of made it easy to flow and really get into what this character would say, what this character would do. Obviously not all the time, if it wouldn't happen as often, and there were a lot of times where I really had to sit and process what was being said and process the things that we were doing and act accordingly, because my gut reaction is just to be like, oh well,
Kill him.
yeah, play back.
Play back. Yeah, I asked us like there are certain points with Jordan where like a lot of my actions were way more calculated because I was like, you know, like playing like the role of like responsibility and trying to decide like, what. There were a lot more factors like Elias was a very impulsive character and then kind of dealt with the consequences of that, whereas like Jordan, I had to kind of play the opposite, but by the opposite token of that, I found Jordan to be very easy to kind of react as. And like I was thinking about that because like a lot of our conversations with Natalie and then like doing Jordan's Umbra, all of that felt so natural. And it was just weird, like we were just like bouncing off each other that night and like didn't have like any sort of like awkward silences or anything, like, and it was just like response after response after response. Everything was just kind of like going at a good rhythm, and like we'd finish the scene afterwards, I'd be like, holy shit, how the fuck did I do that?
I mean, the way that works
like,
is
where did that come from?
You set up a foundation, right? And that's what was important. You spent, oh god, what episode was that? Like 18 or something? But anyway, you know, spend time setting up a character, and I think you had everything ready, you just didn't know it.
Yeah. Well, that like, you know, like certain things come from certain like places in your personal life too that like will like inspire like what kind of character you want to be, or like where like certain events for backstory ideas come from, and
That's
like
what
just feelings kind of that like you evoke like through the character, like they come from a place, you know, like.
And using a therapist really.
That's the ultimate catalyst for emotional characters.
Yeah.
Which brings me to a question for Colby.
No. I refuse.
The answer is no.
Which character do you think challenged you the most?
Of you guys?
No, like one of a character that you played.
Puddin'. No.
It was hard to step into the shoes.
Teeny tiny shoes.
Hard to climb into the trash
Tiny
can.
little paws. Probably the Hark, Laura
Yeah.
and Deandra and Liam, the Hark residents, because it was I said in the post show, if you go on patreon.com/the Umbra Initiative, you get access to all the post show episodes. I talked more about how Laura and that whole that whole Umbra was really I had to rewrite it two times, I think. It turned into something entirely. It was supposed to, the first version was you have this medieval adventure with her where she's like, let's go, we gotta go fight the dragon, save my little brother. And this like little kitty kind of like, but like twisted, you know, horror kind of aspect to it, to mask the underside of like what was going on. And I scrapped the entire idea, and I was like, fuck that, I want to get more personal with it. And it's just literally the story, it's just the most real story out of all of them to me, because it's just a story of like a parent who never wanted these kids to begin with, had an early pregnancy, and ended up the husband or father leaves at a young age too, after promising to take care of them, leaves, and now this little kid, like this young girl, has all of these pent up emotions about taking responsibility for her own actions till she's growing up. Meanwhile, the mother is learning how to take responsibility for these children that she loves dearly but didn't want, right? Like, I think that's such a relatable to some people emotion, or like a lot of people who have kids, it's a surprise, right? It doesn't mean you're gonna like abandon them, but it's like, how many stories do you think talk about that? Like the feelings of a parent who are scared, you know? And something like that, I had to really be like, okay, I don't want to make this goofy. I don't want to tackle it in the same way as other things. I want to try something new and really challenge myself to convey. There was like a whole section of the house where if you went by Laura's room, you could go into their father's stuff that was locked. But if you broke in, you would basically open up a new chapter talking about like Deandra and the father who left, and like the relationship between that and the family.
Interesting.
So like that stuff is interesting to me. So, yeah,
That was really good.
I think we went to a lot of really emotionally dark places with this like particular campaign.
Oh, yeah,
and like we were not afraid to do it either.
no, not at all.
I remember the first couple episodes, like after like we would finish sessions, we'd be like, "Holy shit!" Like, it was almost draining sometimes after we would finish episodes because it was just like, "Fuck!" Like some of the like places we went, some of like ways that like we played off of things were just like it was hard.
Yeah,
really hard.
The topics were very heavy.
Yeah.
Although I do have to ask Colby, because I ask you this every post show. Did any of us give you a notebook throwing moment this season?
I feel like there was a yes. I can't remember.
I feel like it was probably David again. It's always David.
Well, David left Arcade, or Barrett left Arcadia David once. That was kind of threw it off. There was. I can't remember.
Damn.
I've answered this too.
Yeah. I always have to ask.
What was it? It was. I think it was Barrett getting caught.
Oh, my brother was.
Yeah, because you were just so bad in every way. Like you tackled it in the worst way. You were like, Sister Miriam was like, "Hello." And you were like, I grab her. I'm gonna snap her goddamn neck. So I was like, what is happening? It's like episode 8, dude.
I do remember that.
I was like, these guys aren't supposed to show their true colors for like another 10 episodes.
Well, we kind of had the
so funny.
fucking Elias and Adam moment when we were trying to break out of the fucking monster there.
So funny.
That was so not supposed to go that way, too. Like,
So much
It's
fun.
so stupid.
it felt like fucking same old bullshit.
I was like, I hope Nicole doesn't mind that her entire plot line is about to start and conclude in 2 episodes, like episodes 8 and 9. Like, you know.
We knocked it over.
But it worked.
We knocked over her
my
plot line and broke it.
See, what's great is that happened like at the end of the episode, right? Like it happened like I could put a little fight in, and it was good, and then I'd be like, okay, now I have time to like. If you did that at the very beginning, I'd be like, it would have sucked.
That was so good. That was so good.
That was a good one.
Group question 1 through 6 again, but I don't say 3.
2.
Favorite moment. Group question.
Oh, this is hard. I gotta look at my notebook for this.
Yeah, that's a hard
I'm
one.
gonna ponder ye old orb real quick.
Yeah.
Favorite moment? Oh my gosh. I think one of my favorite group moments was the cinema.
Oh, okay.
I really liked that part.
Yeah.
It gave us like little insights of our characters, and it gave us like a little weirdness with like Bowie running on stage and Raj not liking it. Like it not only explained some backstory but also gave us questions, and I liked that a lot.
It was the exposition episode where it was like, well, I guess the episode before that was the exposition episode where Shaboy explained everything. Or was that the same episode? I actually don't remember. I think it might have been the same one.
It might have been.
Which
I'm
one?
not sure though.
What one?
The cinema episode
And what else?
with Raj explaining. Because there was
the same.
There was 2 parts. There was Raj explaining what Umbras were.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then the second part, which is you guys telling the story.
Yeah, that was one of our 2-part episodes.
Yep.
I'll let you know.
That was a very good.
Wow,
one.
those were like 2 weeks apart. The entering the cinema was 12/29, and then the next episode was 1/12.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I think, that's a good moment. I really like that moment too. I liked how everybody had their own little moment to shine and show their personality, and if it was animated, it would look really cool because they would use different art. You'd be like, all right, get a different studio on this
Right.
Yeah.
one. You know, that would have been interesting.
Because it's really fun to play like a villain, quote unquote. That was my first like thought process when making Barrett was like, I want to play a villain.
It was the same episode.
It was
As far as my
okay.
notes go.
okay.
But being able to open up backstory on like a villain, quote unquote, character is really fun. So when I got to show the little bit in the cinema about like him in the military, it was interesting to do that.
Yeah, that was really good.
Favorite moment?
I don't know if I could find just one.
Getting
So
ready
many
to
that I
rescue Natalie from sales.
Oh, that was good.
really?
That was
Yeah.
probably like one of my favorite arcs, like in terms of playing as Jordan.
Yeah, the
for
bleeding
sure.
edge was really
Like,
good.
That part was very.
That
good
was
sales.
fun. I liked that.
Okay.
I liked kind of.
Oh yeah, healing her from death. That was pretty
That was
nice.
crazy. That was
That was
absolutely
a hype 20.
bonkers.
A
Yeah.
hype nat 20.
That was awesome. I loved all the moments of Barrett and Sales being stuck together, dealing with each other, and you
Yeah.
trying very hard not to like lose your cool and just
Yeah.
fucking blow him away.
I really liked the bleeding edge arc a
Oh,
lot.
that was another notebook story moment when you killed Natalie.
Oh yeah.
God, yeah.
It's always
You're like,
David.
just like if you leave the premises, it'll trigger all the bombs. Bye. Hey, what do you?
But that like
So good.
It led to one of the best moments.
exactly. I'm really glad that happened because like reviving her was fucking hype as shit, and that kind of that had implications for the next like that had implications for the rest of the campaign.
Yeah.
Because then after that, it was like Arabella went from like she's got a demon and she's kind of a pain in the ass sometimes because she's like bullheaded to she fucking brought someone back from the dead.
Yeah.
Like she went from like something like we had to like kind of protect and deal with to now she's like incredibly formidable and is way stronger than all of us.
Yeah. It was a character defining moment for Barrett too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being like,
Right.
oh, you can do this.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it changes everything.
Yeah, it
Even
absolutely did.
went as far as to give your wife and kid the number.
Yep.
Her number and be like,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
you know, something happens, here you go.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it totally redefined your character, absolutely.
there's so many good moments. I don't have a particular favorite. You can't make me pick one. But
We have to. The last episode.
I'll give you like my top.
Number one.
Halloween event was really fun. I really liked that. I like slice of life shit.
I like that one too.
I thought it was really fun, and especially because it was like at a point where like the characters were so like defined, but also in this middle weird spot where like we're still trying to figure shit out and still trying to figure out what to do. So it was in this nice spot of like character development, and also just that was like really where the plot, I mean the like setting and like plot and the characters really all meshed well together, and it really became one thing.
Yeah.
I think that was good. I also really liked the oh my god,
love that part.
Roland North's manor.
Oh,
yeah.
the Umbra.
Yeah, I think that was really
That was
cool.
really fun.
That was a fun one to set up.
Yeah.
With the rose maze,
Right.
you know, every single room having their own little adventure thing in it.
Right.
You know?
And I think
that was fun to set up.
Yeah, there's a lot of lots of, I don't know.
There were a lot of good moments.
I really did like the fight with Sales too, because that all the changing Umbras and like, yeah.
Oh, sales.
One of my
He'll be brought
favorite,
back as a robot.
yeah, one of my
Robo
favorite
sales.
characters in this campaign, just because of the deviation from what we planned originally to what they became, is Angelica.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Angelica was great.
Because when we're spitballing ideas for side characters, I was like, I kind of, since Barrett's gonna be watching over the compound, I want there to be that one nun who like kind of who saw him on the cliff and just goes and hangs out, and they don't ask each other questions. They just like have smoke breaks together.
Yeah.
And then it turned into what Angelica is. That's, I don't know. I like her a lot. I like what became of her.
Yeah.
She
What's
went from
yours?
the nun with a secret smoking habit to nuns with guns.
Yep.
We at KTX love nuns with guns.
Yeah. Did you say yours, Colby?
What?
Did you say yours?
Your favorite moment?
I love all the moments.
Shut the fuck up.
Watermelon. My favorite moment was Barrett not making it to the hospital on time.
Oh, with Lacey, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good moment.
That was another one of those like emotionally draining
There was
kind of
so,
nights.
yeah.
That was, I think,
Honestly.
it was like the very first moment where Barrett was like, "Oh, he may have like a heart," because like, he was about to kill her, like
Yeah.
put her out, and then like Bowie
Yeah.
was like,
Or when Laura almost fucking got dead. That was fucked.
Towards the end.
Towards the end.
"Oh yeah."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love Barrett's transformation.
Yeah.
A favorite moment? I think I love Mr. Sales' introduction. Not so much his introduction. I liked when he brings Barrett into the house and murders the mother. The names are escaping me. The mother and daughter.
Actually, I have their names in my sheet too, but I don't have the sheet on me.
Let's see. Somewhere. In
I
here.
can't remember off the top of my head, but they. I love that moment. I liked the moment Mr. Sales and Arabella in the arcade.
Arcade, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was
a
good.
really good one.
I like Raj. Oh, Raj's introduction with Jordan was one of my favorites at the bar, where it was like you could already tell something like everything was dark around them, and like I already knew who he was, what he was about, everything from the very get-go. So it was really easy at that point to sow the seeds of like he's seeing Jordan because Jordan is in an extreme state of mourning. Of course, he'd be the first one he talks to. Yeah. Jordan's also conservation, like that friendship kind of thing.
Yeah.
His dialogue is like, hey, I'm here to see a friend, guess he's not here. Like all that stuff, how he's really, it's funny because he's really bad bartender. Like,
See a friend, but he's not here. It was oh my god. So you knew from like day one about the kin of conservation.
I knew from day one of that, and I also knew that you were, the Shaboy wasn't real. James.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't real. Do you want to know the full name of your kin?
Yeah, of course.
So he's called Anum.
Yeah.
That's from in that. But his full name is Pashta Anum Zaha.
Pasta Fazul. Got it.
Pasta Fazul Zaha.
Got it.
Which means sacrifice, conservation, protect. Mix of Armenian and other gibberish. Such as all of the kin's names.
All of your apostrophes thrown in.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, every apostrophe, which is I take a word in Armenian. I don't know why Armenian. I just like the way it sounds. Whatever their base term is, and I convert it into a section, and I alter it and convert it, and then apostrophe the next one. Like posh is sacrifice, that and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's how I do their name schemes for the kin.
Interesting.
But yeah, I have a lot of favorite moments. It's like.
It's hard to pick a favorite child.
Yeah.
I like whenever Laura and Barrett interact.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Those were fun interactions.
I really like the Mother Adele and Arabella with the movie. I liked that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was a great moment.
Yeah.
That was a really good moment, actually.
Yeah.
Man, Mother Adele was a good character.
Oh, so good.
Very good
I'm
character.
surprised we've gotten this far and haven't brought her up yet.
I know, same.
Yeah, at all, huh? We haven't. That was the first mention of her.
Yeah.
That was my group one, right? David.
Yeah. What up?
Oh, I guess actually this is technically for everyone because I use the same question for all of them. Don't know why I didn't make it a group question. Good job, Colby. How would you describe from the start of the season to the end? Wonder what your questions are, guys.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of character development for all three of us in this season. But I mean, Barrett specifically went from I'm here to do a job to like, wow, I actually care about these people.
Right.
And even if it is in like a minor way, it was such a big transformation for Barrett as a character. Like the part where Mother Adele was defeated.
Yeah.
And Barrett goes up and scoops up Olivia and drives by Demon Arabella. That was pretty much the moment clarifying, like, this is no longer a concern. I'm here to save someone.
Nice.
And that was a really big moment. That and when he left to see his family were both really transformative moments for Barrett.
That was a great moment.
Great.
I loved him talking to his wife. There's a lot of stuff packed into that conversation between the two.
Yeah.
I don't. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Go for it. You were speaking.
I don't think Arabella had as big of a character development as the other two characters. But just for
I could say
let me
more about
explain.
Arabella's development than Jordan's.
Let me. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
totally could.
Let me explain. Because throughout the entirety of the season, she's still Arabella, right? She's still the same character. She's still where she needs to be. She's still very much this naive, like, trusting, forgiving person. And I think that that kind of stayed true throughout the entire season. She did have some developments of, like, taking that responsibility, becoming more, like, independent, becoming more, like, coming into herself a little bit more, becoming more confident.
She broke the drawer.
Yeah, she broke the drawer.
The ultimate character
It took so long. It took so long.
One hard tug.
Yeah.
chat, Crazy Anime Man, wonder who that is. I still really like episode 1. The way you guys opened up the initiative was really attention grabbing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks. That was really good.
I think Arabella, I don't think she was really meant. What's interesting is Barrett and Jordan, I think, had this arc, right, to change in some way. Obviously, feel free to disagree, whatever. But with Arabella, it wasn't about her changing at the end to make her a significant character.
Right.
It was her being challenged and seeing if she would maintain her positive qualities at the end, right?
And I think that's more why I don't think she developed as much as like Jordan or Barrett, because she was really consistent through and through, and despite like the challenges, like you said, there's these moments we got to experience with Arabella that was, oh, this is her character defining moment. Like how Jordan's kind of had his off screen, Barrett kind of had his off screen, like, you know, something happened that changed who they are fundamentally, and now like we're here to see those end results. But with Jordan, like, he wanted to leave. He had all the Umbra that he went through, going through these changes and seeing the narrative with Natalie, like, really showed that development of, like, his character changing. And Barrett, like, going from, like you said, oh, it's just work, to, like, oh, okay, I kind of care, I have a heart. Arabella didn't, not in a bad way, and I don't mean this negatively at all, but she just didn't develop the same way that Jordan and Barrett did.
Yeah, that's the thing. She didn't need to.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of a character, wasn't to change. It was to resist
Change.
negative change. Yeah.
See, my perception of that is a little different, because like we've said it before in other post shows where, like, Jordan and Barrett, they went through their shit kind of off screen before the storyline, and then were kind of shaped because of that. And like we were at the tail end of like mourning, and we were kind of developing that sense of like, what do I do with these broken pieces, and how do I make them like fit together again, and how do I make this work for me?
Yeah.
Whereas Arabella is on the opposite side of that, and once everything happened, like, as soon as the fight with Brother Lewis turning into like the angel thing, and once that started, that was Arabella slowly getting pushed into a meat grinder, which pretty much kind of concluded with the compound being destroyed and us killing Titan version of fucking Mother Adele. But from that point on, once Lewis was gone, once Olivia was gone, and once Mother Adele was gone, Arabella, her entire demeanor completely changed, because after that we weren't even sure if you even had a demon anymore, and you were just this shell. And I think that's when like true honest character development started beginning, because like you were reduced to nothing. You had like your level of stability that you believed to be genuine and all you ever knew, so you like loved it and believed in it, and parts of it may have been like sincere coming from Lewis and Adele, but after you lost those, the only kind of maternal and paternal figures that you had in your life, once those are both gone and your best friend was gone, you had nobody anymore, and you didn't even have that thing in the back of your mind anymore. You had nothing. And I think that was when you started kind of like making more decisions that were for Arabella and not for the sake of anybody else.
Yeah.
Like that last like 4 or 5 episodes, like you completely changed the way that you played Arabella.
Yeah.
Like she kind of became a little unpredictable. Whereas like for like the first like 3/4 of the show, like once like you kind of like fell into a groove of, okay, Arabella's the naive girl with the demon, and these things will happen because of who she is, and like the like reactions to things were happening because of who she was. But then after that point, like once like you lost Olivia and took that hard and then took off and went on your own, like I think that's when like big development started changing, and I think that's going to carry through into like next season. And for sure. Yeah, because I think she's a completely different person from how she was before.
That's a great assessment, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas Jordan's, you can sum it up in fucking 4 sentences, if that. Jordan was alive in the first episode. And then by the end of the last episode, he's not anymore.
The ultimate character development.
Yep.
That's it.
Ashes to ashes. Dust. Cosmic dust to
Yeah,
cosmic
cosmic
dust.
dust. Yeah.
No, I think honestly, for Jordan's, it's responsibility where it was his theme, and at the beginning, it's I'm running from it now. He had the full circle of character,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was like those.
he died complete, I think.
I think so too,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have really wanted him to go out any other way than how he did it. It made the most sense for everything, and
Now he's dead.
yeah, now he's dead.
What about Bowie's development?
Bowie didn't develop.
Nope.
Not even sure
He
he's
started off as helpful and ended as
Yeah, what if like
Kind of
by the
not
end of this,
helpful.
I just say like he didn't do, he wasn't real.
What's the opposite of development? Because that's what Bowie did.
Yeah.
He devolved.
Bowie
Yeah.
never actually existed.
Yeah.
It's a group hallucination.
He was a
Yeah.
plot device.
Okay,
Ex Machina.
filter through my rest of my group questions. Who would you like to see interact with the setting of Campaign 2 from Campaign 1?
I know my answer, and I've known my answer for a long time because I've thought about it, but I can't answer why.
Okay.
Savannah.
Savannah. Okay.
Yeah. I just think it would be extremely interesting to have her in this town, just like working on something, or because she would like know what's happening, right? She would be like the one who would know what's going on, and it would just be very interesting to have her around.
What if
But,
I
like-
told you she was originally the one who was supposed to show up in the post-credit scene?
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I had a very small list of Campaign 1 characters, and I rolled
Huh. Interesting.
to see. Obviously, the ones who are on there would make sense, and not like I put like, well, Lucius, like
Yeah,
I had a small list, rolled on it, and she didn't. She was on the list, but she didn't.
Yeah. Because of what she was doing towards the end of Campaign 1, I could see her
Right.
like figuring something out with
Yeah.
this, you know?
You know.
I can almost picture that too. It's just like somebody comes to her like, there are these weird like interdimensional monsters that keep popping out of these portals and creating kind of parallel universes in our world, and she's like, oh, that's just an Umbra.
Yeah.
She just knows.
Yep.
I honestly would really have liked. It's gonna be weird, but Will Lucius, because I mean we already did like like the planetary thing and all that, so I really wonder what.
Are you talking about like the Will Lucius that like the people know because they didn't see season 0, we didn't air it?
Yeah, human Lucius.
Or are you talking about
monster Lucius.
yeah, like
Pre-monster Lucius.
so like human Lucius?
yeah,
like,
human Lucius.
I'm a CEO.
Yes,
Yeah.
and where he's still plotting shit, but like also this weird shit's happening. I would love to see like his reaction to an Umbra and be like, that's weird.
Oh.
Oh. And especially if like he had an Umbra, imagine like
Yeah.
would be crazy.
The short list I have right here was Cedric, V, Cam, Xavier, Rise, Savannah. That was the list of people that were going to show up in the post-credit scene in some
Cool.
way.
Cool, I love it.
Yeah.
I rolled and got the most normal.
I love
That's so good. Yeah, that's so good.
Worked out well.
It did work out really well.
Honestly, I would love to see 5 years older and wiser Elias show up and check out the Umbras and try to figure out whether or not they're associated with Animus or not.
That'd be cool.
It probably would change his perception of what Animus even is, too. I think that'd be
very
really
cool.
interesting. I still feel like there's a lot more to explore
About
with that
you?
whole thing.
Puddin. No,
But it is this one.
Amalgapup.
Amalgapup and the trash monster are basically the same.
The trash ones. I don't know. I wouldn't want somebody who would really kind of like break, like Rise is who I love.
Yeah.
But he could solve a fair amount of issues, I think, that would have popped up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's a really strong character. Let's do. Let's do Delilah.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
Delilah or the Bola.
Yeah, the
Bola would have been fun.
I want to see the Bola fight, fucking, Sales.
Oh, jeez.
I think the Bola's retired.
5 years out from the last campaign.
I think he's like,
he probably saw the New York incident and was like, fuck
yeah,
this.
fuck this, I'm out, mate. He's just His like he looks at his bolas and he looks at the giant crystal monsters attacking and he's like,
I do have to say, and I know that there's more to come, but I am surprised that that either Big Shot and the Sovereign didn't show up. I expected both of those characters to show up.
We brought up the Sovereign a couple times
Yeah.
too, or
Yeah.
like it just felt like obvious that at some point he would show, and he just never did.
Yeah. Expect them to show up.
what if I told you?
Then he died off screen.
I don't know if I should say it.
Oh no.
Is it gonna come up in the future?
What if I told you that the Sovereign was in this season?
All right, now you have to
Fuck
tell us.
off.
Yep. Oh no, I can't tell you anymore now.
Oh, fuck off.
That's black. You're just
Yep.
bullshitting.
100%. He is in this season.
Oh, fuck off. Now I gotta go
Where?
back.
Where?
I can't. I'm not gonna spoil it
Was
because
it-
it's a
I
might be
assumed
revealed.
it was like purposefully obtuse.
Absolutely. Yeah. It wasn't something that either any of you would actually pick up on.
All right.
So don't. It's not something like how could I? Like even if you rewatch it now, I would be very surprised if anybody got it. But
Interesting.
I think it's very vague. If you're like a super fan, I think you can
Yep.
catch it.
Huh.
Damn.
That's cool. That's cool.
So did Rise technically, but that's also
my
another
God,
super
fuck
fan
off.
little.
Bullshit.
Well, I know. Well, I don't know, but I assumed at least when you mentioned the seal, the magic seal on
Oh,
the
yeah,
crystal, that was like, two sorcerers did this.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah.
that's
what we're
obviously
talking about.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's that's not what I'm referring to, but yeah, you're right. You're 100% right.
interesting.
Yeah. Favorite NPC?
You're asking me.
These are the easy ones I gotta like. I think I only have one.
Favorite NPC.
Hold it.
Unanimously pudding.
I got two more after this.
Well, I answered, so.
So next.
Pudding.
All cops are bastards. Let me say this first and forthright. But Sheriff Stone, absolutely.
Oh, Sheriff Stone.
Probably one of the strongest kind of support characters we have.
Thanks,
for sure.
Neo.
Yeah,
Very good character.
yeah, absolutely. As soon as he showed up, he felt important and pretty much carried that torch to the end.
Yeah.
I had a police chief before him, but he was never introduced, so it turned out really well when
I think
Shaboy made him.
I think Mother Adele is my favorite.
Mother Adele is a very good character.
She was a great character. I love her. Angelica too. That's really tied.
Mother Adele is one of those characters where from day one she's manipulative, but you can't do anything about it.
Right.
Yeah, she's too strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing her was definitely my favorite because like people would say like, oh, she's a bastard, she's fucking awful, and she is to a degree, but I think there's a lot to be said about like she was literally a creature created for one specific purpose, and the fact that she did anything nice at all, like she really fought against that. That like, or she was a spawn created to summon her kin, right?
Yeah.
And in the end, that's what she did, right? Like or rather, tried to do.
Yeah.
But she
was great.
put a lot of care into it, I think.
Yeah.
And she's just really fucked up in that way, and that's
Right.
why she's really interesting to me.
Yeah, I like that. I think she's my favorite.
She's a very good character.
Corey, favorite NPC? Oh, you said Sheriff Stone,
yeah.
David. Puddin. Okay. All right, very good.
You're gonna die on that hill.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know, I agree.
Only favorite MC.
Puddin. Malgapop. Favorite NPC? That one's really tough. It's like Raj, Mother Adele, Sales. Like
Yeah, I thought Sales would be it for sure.
Sales is definitely he was definitely the most fun to play without a
it,
doubt. In every
Yeah, seeing you play Sales was an experience.
Oh yeah, that freaked the audience out.
I liked chat freaking out the
Yeah.
very first time
Yeah,
you showed
so
up
good.
at
Chat
the
was
end of the episode.
Yeah, it was really funny because like out of game, like we've seen you be that level of like manic silly,
Yeah.
but like not like play a character like that. So it was really funny to see you like be another side of you that you don't normally kind of like portray in characters.
Yeah, we still to this day get comments on those episodes being like, "Oh my God, Sales."
Yeah, he was incredibly dynamic.
When he was first introduced, I always think of the scene in Dumb and Dumber where Jim Carrey, when he pulls out of his super awesome car and he's wearing the the suit. I think he had the orange one on.
Yeah.
A full orange suit. And he was like, he just walks up with a cane and he's like, park my car. And he gets like this, the breath spray, and he goes, but he sprays it the opposite way and like gets the dude in the face. He's like, all right. And like goes in, and I'm like, that's it. That's the 100% the energy I want with him.
Amazing.
Like stupid, but with utmost confidence, but replace stupid with psychopath.
Yeah, I was gonna say stupid. He was not. He was definitely like scary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like it was like I don't even know how to like amply describe it. He reminded me a lot of I said it before, the Marvel character Arcade.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you did say that.
And like he was just like, he was like manic and unpredictable and incredibly calculated at the same time. Like everything he did had purpose, even if like that purpose made absolutely no sense to everybody else. You know, like his methods were like confusing as hell, and that kind of only added to how scary they were.
Yeah, he had like, also for like a narrative perspective, I think he does a lot to tell about the world building too. Just like who he was as a person made you think about who Bleeding Edge is as an entity, right? To hire somebody like that. So like this guy is of a higher power than Barrett, who Barrett seems like a very capable and like with it individual, right? Like, and all of a sudden this dude comes in. Why is this dude, who's a complete psychopath, have more authority than him, right? So like that makes you think, and like you said, he's unpredictable. Like you always feel like you're in danger. Like you're like, oh, we're getting breakfast in a diner.
Right.
That doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, everybody was dreading that.
Yeah, he could just stand up and shoot everybody there, and he wouldn't care, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm expecting that to happen.
Exactly.
Same.
When he chased Arabella out of the arcade,
Yeah.
and, like the only reason he didn't is because Raj was there. And he was
Yeah.
like, okay.
He cut my fucking brakes.
He cut
my
dude, that was hilarious. I loved when I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And he goes, and you guys are like talking, and I'm like, nobody tailed him. Nobody thought anything of it.
Meanwhile, he's pissing on my truck and cutting my
You
brake.
could just see it animated where they're talking and the camera pans to like the window, and he's just like, just
The most obvious.
yeah. He like fucks up a few times, and, like snips his finger, like going under, like, you know, just.
He's loud opening and shutting the hood.
He like does the wrong car first.
Yeah.
He goes to the other
He
one.
drives a truck.
Yeah.
Cuts the next car.
Goes back in, he has oil on him.
Yeah, right.
He's
A
like,
band-aid.
Yeah.
this bathroom's rough.
Greasy.
Do not go in there. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, I love sales. Who is a character in campaign 2 that you wanted to learn more about, but didn't get the chance to?
That's good.
Barrett's family.
Okay.
Straight up Barrett's
Yes.
family. I wish they kind of got more time.
Yeah, I think the reason they didn't was purposeful. Just like because me playing out Barrett's story, I was just like, they're distant from him, so they should be distant from the story.
Right.
You know,
I get that. Yeah. That kind of just made me want to know more, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a not an Easter egg. There's a element to the scene where he talks to his wife that people haven't picked out yet. That is very. It's almost foreshadowing, I think.
Really?
Yeah, which is very interesting. I wonder if people
sovereign.
can pick it up. your son is the sovereign.
Yeah. A character I would want to know more about.
You can't say
That's hard.
Puddin'. Because you will learn more about
I mean,
Puddin'.
now that we kind of mentioned it, Deandra's ex-husband or ex-boyfriend or
baby daddy.
baby daddy, yeah.
I'm gonna say. Oh, sorry. Go. I interrupted you.
No, it would just be. I would just like to learn more about that, especially since Barrett and that family kind of have like a connection now. It would be interesting to learn more about
The
that.
kin of dumping your ass.
Yeah. I think his name escapes me, but the Snake Boy.
Oh, Walter. Uh-huh.
Oh
I agree. That was Tales of Sorrow's character.
I'm very interested in that character.
Yeah, Walter Langston. I wanted to put him in a lot more too. I tried to sneak him in as much as I could in there, but you know, I'm sure we'll definitely learn more about him.
I'm excited for that.
He had the snake around. He helped Arabella with the lantern stuff. He had a little little petting zoo thing.
Okay, yeah.
During the Halloween event.
Yeah.
He's a shy, meek kind of boy. Oh, Angelica, favorite NPC.
That's a good one.
I did say her. She's on another tier. I actually really liked her.
Yeah, I do.
Sorry.
Again, nuns with guns.
Nuns with guns.
We love nuns with guns.
Yeah.
She was just fun to play because it's kind of the way you said about Mother Adele, you knew you were getting played the whole time.
But you can't do anything.
Yeah, but you can't do anything about it. And that's
That
like
was
Angelica but hers is like
Worse because
she wasn't trying to hide it, right? Like with Mother Adele is like, no, it's okay. You know, like she would what's the term when you try to make someone gaslight?
Yeah.
Like Mother Adele would kind of gaslight you. But Angelica's just like, hey, we're gonna go do this. Like,
Yeah, she was very
And what
much
are you
like
gonna
the
do?
enemy of
Yeah.
your enemy is your friend, kind of.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So like it was me and Barrett and her versus the whole.
like, what are you gonna do without me?
Right.
Yeah.
It's, you know, so it was cool to be able to like manipulate players that way and like, do that and have her work out in the end. And, you know, and she like won,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
she won in her own way. She accomplished her mission. Okay. My last question. What are you looking forward to most in season 2?
The ammo.
I mean, the ammo belt is always fun to go to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. Future character developments, like, there's still a lot with Barrett that I want to do. A lot of like avenues I want to try to explore, or like ones that I'm not even sure I want to explore, but I want that to be tested.
Okay.
Cameos from campaign 1 are always fun, and like I want to see where those lead. There's a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. I am excited for. I mean, we just had the whole Divine Jewel Cutter. We know he's gonna be back. Like, we know that's gonna be coming back. Misty, the fact that Misty's here now is like huge. I'm really excited to see that play out. And yeah, I'm excited for, you know, what's gonna happen next with Arabella and the direction that she goes and how consistent she's gonna stay, or if she is gonna change or not. So.
I want to know why Cedric and Xavier are in Arcadian Haven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just weird. I want to know
It's
why.
gonna be fun.
I want to know why they're there, and I want to see how they're different.
Yeah.
After 5.
Cedric's really into photography now.
Yeah.
That's why he went.
So anyway,
He's gonna get photos of the fall foliage,
Yeah. He's a
Dude.
leafer.
even though he's from New York.
Imagine.
he's a New Yorker checking out the foliage, you know?
Imagine if
Could've just went to
Cedric
the upstate.
got the Avarice Umbra. Imagine if Cedric got the Avarice Umbra.
All the stuff in it.
He's
Yeah.
got the Umbra of luck, or he's the kin of luck.
Yeah, those are all my questions. Right,
What are you looking forward to, Colby?
I think Bleeding Edge. The plot line with Angelica. I already have a lot of ideas in my head of like where it's going. I think leaving Arcadian Haven is going to be interesting. I think we spent a lot of time in Arcadian Haven, and of course we're not done with it. But I think the type of campaign it'll become is going to be different than what you see in season 1.
You think
for
it's
sure.
gonna be like a bigger scale?
Yeah, I think so. It's gonna be a bigger scale. It is. I think naturally it has to be. It's just it can't be a small town thing anymore. That changed when you guys revealed your powers, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
That changed when you activated the World Gem.
Yeah.
It changed when the Divine Jeweler finally stepped in. When Misty showed up.
Yeah.
That was all right. Your Arcadian Haven is. It may be a hub now, but it is. You have now opened things up beyond that.
I just had a funny kind of weird parallel thought of just like how things are in comparison to like world and everything. Random music thing in the 90s, like once like bands like Nirvana and like Pearl Jam and like Soundgarden and all those bands from Seattle, Washington out of nowhere got really big, everybody went to Seattle to try to find the next big band. I feel like Arcadian Haven is going to be that for superheroes. There's going to be like, yeah, everybody is going to go to Arcadian Haven thinking that they're going to find superpowers there.
Well, I mean, it did open up the when you guys went into the mountain, the P Rock,
Yeah.
P-Rock.
which is now revealed to be because remember in campaign 1 the way that the whole lore behind the Divine Jeweler is, for he's been around for eons. He would just pop by planets, settle down, make a workshop, and he would make these gems and then leave them.
Yeah.
And when races discover these gems, suddenly their tech level, whatever you want to say, increases. So that's why you have space travel. Remember in Rook Nova's ship, it was powered by a crystal.
Yeah.
Everything in everything in the Prismatic Coalition is powered by these crystals, like all the sci-fi stuff, right?
Yeah.
So now you have a mountain full of these crystals that have now been like activated, right, in a way, and then deactivated, but people know it's there. So what does that mean, right? Like you said, like that should bring a lot of people there, right? Or
Yeah.
Put it on the map in more ways than one.
yep, there's still like Umbras. The show's called the Umbra Initiative, and that isn't gonna change. Umbras are gonna still be a big deal. And Bleeding Edge is doing a lot of weird stuff with Umbras that we discovered. And then you have Bowie.
Yeah.
It's Bowie's deal.
He's a gem. He's a crystal.
Yeah.
He is one.
He
His
is
whole body.
one. His whole body.
All right, any more questions? Or are we wrapping up? Why?
You got a question, Bowie?
I just like making Bowie's head jiggle.
All right, I have one more question. Is there if anything, is there anything that you wish you could do differently for everyone, including Colby?
Like in life?
Yes.
Well, it all started when I was 7.
Like, is there a moment that you wish was different, or are you completely satisfied with everything that played out?
Oh man. I kind of wish I leaned into the No More Mutants angle more with Barrett, because I did originally want that to be a big part of his character.
Yeah.
Where just like powers are the bane of the world.
Yeah.
But I didn't really, and I feel like the reason why I didn't is because I just want him to be more. I just want him to work more in the group. Like, I want.
Inclusive.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
You didn't want to be like, I don't like you because I'm racist, kind of like.
Yeah.
No one wants to be the racist.
Yeah, I didn't want him to be difficult to play with. You know?
Yes.
I didn't want to just like, I always hate Jordan because he can fly. I
Right.
can change that. Like, I didn't want to do
There's
that.
not much to like really explore in terms of like conversation there.
Yeah.
Right? It would have kind of been really repetitive, I think.
Yeah.
I think the development would have been very simple too. It's just like him becoming more tolerant or open-minded or whatever over the course of it. Like it's almost like inevitable. He ends up in like a life-threatening situation. Someone with power saves him, and then he changes his thought.
Yeah.
Like, it's
They aren't so bad.
it's so cliche and
Yeah.
it's cheap. I get that.
Yeah, so instead of leaning into it, I kind of just made it a thing like, that was him before we started. And I kind of hinted that, like, yeah, I used to be like this.
Because I remember early on that being like kind of a like personality trait, and then we just kind of like forgot about it.
Yeah.
Or abandoned. I don't remember. Like I remember it being brought up very early on and thinking it was interesting to begin with, and then just kind of like never going there again.
Yeah, I would try to bring it up in conversation, being like, I would have been someone who wouldn't like me, like in the past.
Yeah.
But like, I tried to make it all in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cory?
I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint if there are any like major specific things like I would want to change.
I wish we did more with Jordan Mitch Anderson.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, because we didn't really ever explore him that much. He only had like maybe like one or two off kind of interactions with each other.
One at the bar and then one at the
The Halloween event,
yeah.
and then doing the crane.
Yeah.
Opening up the thing, and that was kind of it. Like, there really wasn't anything
There
there.
wasn't really just much to. I don't know. I set it up as like this weird, like I think we all knew how it was gonna end with like, maybe you're not so bad, kind of like that
Yeah.
thing, right?
It could have played out like that. He could have become an antagonist to some degree. He could have, or still, I mean, has potential to become that no powers kind of redneck asshole in the woods kind of character, you know? Because we haven't even explored that either, because like you had everyone kind of unanimously agreeing in town, like, okay, we're gonna work with these superpowered people to kind of
But we did have what's his name? Randall.
Yeah.
Randall Sven. He's the asshole.
Yeah.
But it's inevitable for that kind of movement to build up in any world of like storylines where like there are people with powers. There are always going to be people that hate them for having them.
Yes.
Whether it comes from a place of jealousy or that person was responsible for the death of my family or this and that or whatever. I mean, even Jordan kind of had that.
Yeah, he hated those kids.
Yeah.
Those stupid,
Dumb,
dumb,
fucking irresponsible idiots.
idiot, fucking bastards.
Yeah, he was a self-hating soup.
What do you regret?
Colby?
What do you regret?
Not regretting.
Oh. I wanted to change
Regrets.
Mother Adele's ending. I think I could have did better with that.
Really?
I think I could have had a more in-depth conversation. It was kind of sudden. I think it was very sudden. She didn't really have a conversation with Arabella.
Like that closure.
Yeah, which I guess in some ways could be okay, but I think I would have preferred the closure. There were other things.
I thought of something. I kind of wish Jordan had more time with the kin that he kind of
That's
like
cool.
met with. Like they just had kind of like one off like conversation, just kind of like agree and be cool with each other, and that was about it. Absolutely, it was really
was
cool,
great.
but I wish there was kind of a little more to that. But
I would have liked a little more like slice of life little moments with like suddenly this entity's and you like
yeah, like
yeah, it would have been kind of cute.
I think it would have felt too much like the Adam and Mercury thing though. Where like things are happening, Jordan's kind of having one reaction to him, and then the kin is having
I feel
like that was Bowie.
more naive reactions to these things.
I think you're right because I think I would have played him as like naive.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, because it's an alien kind of character. Yeah, so it's something that's intelligent but has no idea what Earth is like. It'd kind of be the same thing over again.
I keep forgetting. It's literally on the tip of my tongue. I keep forgetting the things I
You
regret.
just said, "Oh,
I know.
it's right there."
I think I'm dying.
You don't regret anything.
Am I getting a bloody nose?
Do you smell toast?
I smell
Can you
ferret.
smell?
Stop. I wish you guys went out with Raj.
I know.
I had a whole fun day of fishing and all that planned.
That would have been great.
I do kind of wish you guys saw Rodney Dale, but that's okay. Because that was funny. There was another big one I regret not doing. I kind of wish Raj was around a little bit more, and Bowie too. I think Bowie had a really strong start.
Yeah.
But there were so many other things. I kind of just kept forgetting about Bowie later on, which is why he wasn't really like around.
Yeah.
Because I literally just forgot to include
How
Bowie
could you
because I'm like
forget?
tackling
He's right
like 40.
here.
He's right.
I know. Like you know what I should have done is I should have gave him a character profile, like a page, like a character sheet, and given it to you guys. And then giving you guys like an extra action at the end of every combat turn to have him like little minor. So like most of the time he probably wouldn't be able to do much, but at least he had like more of a presence. That's what I should have done. More bygones.
Really? We had so many too.
Yeah, but there was a problem where if you accumulated too many, you would get problems. But I never put in enough to make that happen. Mostly because you guys spread them out evenly.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody had like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think all of you had 2.
Yeah.
Which is appropriate. Anything else?
I think I wish that Arabella, 2 things, was more investigative
You got it.
of the bleeding edge, since she did have that number.
True. Yeah.
I kind of wish I explored that a little bit more. And I think been a little bit more like sticking to her guns as far as like siding with Mother Adele. Because I think just a little too quickly.
She was pretty on board till the very end. Like even like I think it's okay that the final straw was that she drugged you.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, that was like the tiniest straw, and then it really broke when she looked to the left and saw that Mother Adele was literally sacrificing Olivia to a muck monster.
Sure.
I think she did well.
Yeah, I just wish just established that more, because I feel like there were more times where she was more suspicious of them instead of more suspicious of the group.
Yes.
And it's nothing major. It's definitely not something that I think would have changed anything to like an extreme amount, but I think it would have been more interesting.
Okay, that's it. I wish I did more space stuff, because I know you wanted to do that. You know what? I think it came to a matter of I forgot you had the abilities of the life support stuff. Otherwise, I would have manipulated your Umbra to do more space stuff, because that would have been the time to do it. So I regret not putting more space stuff. Space meat.
And I kind of wish Natalie was there when Jordan died. But I kind of like that she wasn't. Too.
Yeah. Yeah, she gave a good eulogy.
Yeah, that's great.
We'll retroactively go back and do it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And scene. Yeah. What a great time. What a great place to end that. What do we regret? We regret you not joining our Patreon.
It's true. It's
Patreon.com/the Umbra Initiative.
You can help support the show and get stuff.
See, that was the best time to do it, because if you hadn't before, because the season's over, man, what am I gonna watch? It's not like there's 25 episodes of post show.
You're right.
True. It's true. There's a whole season of post show.
That's like 75.
Wow.
Is it? Yeah, I don't think so.
I was like, those aren't the regular
30
episodes.
minutes. 3
Yeah,
times
it's at least 30
25.
minutes every week.
Isn't it like 750 minutes?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
25, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Dude, just say like it's like 12 hours of material.
Hey,
Don't make it weird.
Technology.
That is several for me. Yeah.
Awesome. We did it. Read it.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, you can check that out. That's really good stuff.
Or you can
Season.
or you can keep watching us on Twitch, because not only do we have streams every single day, but every Wednesday at our normal initiative time, we're gonna do something.
We got
something.
stuff planned.
It's also, we have our first campaign. Go watch Initiative on our YouTube channel.
You could
and
get
in our
little
RSS feed.
little hints about things in the Umbra Initiative.
Yeah,
Nothing crazy.
it's a little tough, because I do think season 2 is going to be way more dependent, or rather, like, there's going to be a lot more of campaign 1 in season 2.
I
if
think
that makes
that's
sense.
very fair though, because if they made it to campaign 2 season 2, either they're invested enough to watch all of season 1 of campaign 2, and then we make reference and say like, hey, if you're a fan, you can go back and watch campaign 1, or they've already watched campaign 1.
Yeah,
I feel like we do a pretty good job explaining things too. I don't think there's anything that's really left out from not knowing campaign 1.
Yeah, it's gonna stick with me though. I'm always gonna have that in the back of my head of like, maybe I should have just really hard disconnected the two, right? And just kept little Easter eggs, right? But too late. It's also, I think, important to note that, unfortunately, Cory, I know you won't be joining us for season 2, at least in the traditional sense at the moment. I know you have your job.
Yeah, something that really started to suck towards the later half of this season was my schedule was fucking atrocious. So like I was leaving work, coming right here, doing the stream.
Like a 50-minute drive.
Right.
Yeah, coming like an hour to here and doing the stream, then going home, going straight to bed, waking up and going straight to work after that. And it was just draining. And it's, as of now, the way my schedule is, I made it work to finish the storyline because it's
Absolutely.
what needed to be done. It was right, and I didn't want to abandon the story because the whole reason why we do this is to tell a story. And we're already this far invested, and I wasn't gonna back that down.
Which you did perfectly.
Right, yeah.
I like that circular. It's a full circle character.
Yeah, and it felt right, honestly. Especially I don't have any regrets about the decision to make Jordan die at all. Like, kind of regardless of whether or not I was going to be continuing the next campaign as or the next season as the same character or not, I'd almost prefer not to, because I hate to say it, I mean, you could progress Jordan to become like Superman or whatever, but it felt better for him to kind of find his purpose, succeed, and then let that be that, because that's kind of almost what he kind of wanted all along anyway.
He got it, you know?
Yeah, it felt right. I was happy with it.
Now you don't have to do that, like, you know, like in some shows, they're like, you know, they were only slated for a season 1, right? So then, like, season 2 comes around, they have no idea what the fuck to do with these characters.
Or purpose anymore or anything like that. Because
Right.
then, what's the purpose past that point? He's the selfless, strong guy.
Yeah.
Like,
I know we would have found something, but like,
perhaps.
it's,
I mean, like,
you know, you can never say never, right?
no, the relationships with the characters would have progressed further. He probably would have like helped Arabella like find a new sense of grounding or whatever, just by being kind of through the ringer of that, whatever. But like, I mean, it's what ifs, and it doesn't matter. It'd be fun later after like the next season to imagine how Jordan could have fit into those events.
Yes.
But those events haven't happened yet. So
Yeah.
aside from that, it's cool. But
But I know this definitely won't be the last we'll be seeing of Cory.
no, absolutely not. I'm
There's a
always
whole-
down to come back.
There's a whole cameo waiting to happen.
And I would be much delighted to come back as Elias Crowley.
He'll
at
be
some
playing
point.
Adam.
Yeah, I'll come back as Adam. No, I would absolutely love to come back as Elias.
We still have to do our campaign 1 versus campaign 2 characters. At some point.
yeah.
However we do that.
Stomped.
Yep.
You guys have a dead guy on your team.
Go, Jordan.
It's what's it called? The movie.
the puppet. Yeah. Marionettes.
But I'm sure you guys aren't just gonna continue with 2 characters as players. So I'm curious to see how this is gonna keep going.
Third player right here.
Yep, there he
There he
is.
is.
This is gonna be me with a Bowie mask.
Who could he be?
Don't say his name.
Yeah, I mean, we will. We're still going to be continuing season 2. There'll be changes and whatnot over there. Stay tuned and all that. And like David said, we'll be here Wednesdays, whatnot over there.
Games hanging out.
Yeah, the RSS feed might be a little quiet for like periods at a time over there, but don't worry, we're going to be back in audio form too. And all of that, and we'll do little things. There's a lot in the way. We have a whole whiteboard
we have
full
a
of
whole
stuff.
whiteboard,
Like,
yeah.
there's stuff happening.
Yep.
So, yeah, thank you for watching season 1, the Umbra Initiative. I think,
It's thanks to you guys that we can even do this.
Yeah.
So
Really.
yeah,
thanks.
I think
a lot.
it went pretty well.
I think it went next year.
Just look today that the episode 1 of this campaign has surpassed episode 1 of the last one.
Awesome.
Wow.
In views.
Yep, episode 1 of Umbra is our new most watched episode.
And also, the RSS feed went crazy with downloads over the past couple months. Like, people are more so listening than watching us physically, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's what I do with a 2.5 hour, 3 hour show
Right,
anyway.
yeah.
But you know, you're out there. We hear you. We see you.
If you've listened all the way to the end of this,
You are
that means that you're the real one.
the real MVP.
And just like, I know everyone says like, oh, like, comment. Just comment on something
true.
saying hi, because we like to hear from you and to bounce back.
I didn't know you could rate on Spotify until like 2 weeks ago.
What, really?
I didn't know you could.
Huh.
I because the feature like isn't there
I
like
know you can do
readily.
Yeah.
So 5 stars, whatever it is, on Spotify for us, that would help a lot. It takes you a literal second, you know, or wherever you listen to us. I know Google Play Music is a popular place for
Yeah,
us.
just click some buttons.
Yeah.
That helps.
Click some buttons. Tell us how you really feel.
Tell your mom.
Tell your
Tell your mom about us.
Tell your mom's boyfriend about us. He probably likes comic books.
yeah.
Probably.
And type in comments how much you liked Cory.
Yeah.
Where can they find you, if anywhere?
I am on all social medias and stuff. I'm actually working on another album as of
Nice.
late. I just started my 4th full-length album as Cory Croft and the Band of Phantoms. You may have heard some of my stuff prior, before, when I released other things, and we would put them in the beginning of like the post-show or the pre-show countdowns and stuff like that.
There's also a link to his channel in all of our videos. Yeah, Cory Croft and the Band of Phantoms. His YouTube, I believe, specifically is what we have linked,
Yeah,
I believe.
I know, like, on all my like videos and stuff there, I have like a link tree that's got everywhere you can find me. All my music is on like every streaming platform. It's on like Google Music, it's on Spotify, it's on, I have like this weird long list of shit. Like half these like streaming services I've never even heard of, but you can find
Same
one
with
on
this,
there.
really. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the Podbean. What's that?
They can't go one episode without slandering Podbean. We're gonna get sued.
It's been a while. We haven't said Podbean in a long time.
Yeah,
You think so?
I think it's been a while since we
been
said
a hot
Podbean.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, look up Cory Croft and the Band of Phantoms.
I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Make a bunch of music. I'd like to have people listen to it.
And we'll see you in the next season. Any closing remarks?
Fuck you. Not you, the audience. We're gonna hear you, the GM. No,
Thank you.
Yes, thanks.
not to get like mushy, but thanks for having me for 3 seasons. Or yeah, 3 seasons. That's about right.
Yeah.
It's been fucking awesome. It's been crazy. I've enjoyed it.
It's gonna be weird without you.
Yeah,
It's gonna
sorry.
be really weird. But like I said, we'll see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the end.
You're more than capable storytellers.
The beginning of season 2 is Elias Hung. All right, we love you guys. We will see you next time you see us, which is hopefully be soon.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Keep looking at us on Twitter, Discord, a great way to see announcements, YouTube, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Look up Keep Tappin' Eps, look up the Umbra Initiative, Keep Tappin' Eps. That is where you will find us. And David streams every day.
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll be back here at like noon. So see ya.
Yeah, but he's back from hiatus, so give him a warm welcome.
True. Yeah.
Talk to us in Discord.
I'll
Love
still
you.
be there. You can bug me there too.
Oh yeah, Cory will be there too, so he's not gone. Just,
Forever lurking.
Yes.
Bye. We're gonna go raid.
Bye.
Bye.